It's interesting because the first album, Everything Changes in the End, when you hear that title, it's very existential, and yet because of the teenage thing, it just kind of feels like teenage angst. But with the new album, you kind of continue on with that thread in terms of like an existential theme, title-wise. Where do you see that in your songwriting?
I guess like the first album was as you say, sort of a movement from your teenage years into your like early adulthood, and then the second album, which is kind of I guess sort of like a companion piece to the first album in terms of like how quick it came around and stuff like that. That's sort of being like, well, now we're here, now we're sort of young adults gradually getting a bit older. It's like, what do we do now? Like, where are you? You're in that weird kind of limbo between like, some people are having kids, some people are buying houses, and then we are still just doing music and stuff like that. It's a kind of a funny transition period that you're in, that early stage. So, and also that second record was written kind of right at the beginning and throughout lockdown. So being kind of unsure and questioning things was very much on our minds during that time. So that's I guess where that one came from.
How direct a reaction do you feel like the second record is to the first one?
It's funny because like the first one was just like, we brought it out like mid-lockdown. So like the whole thing, like the whole reaction around it was like all kind of online. So it was like, it's really nice in a way because it felt like there was like such like a sense of community around it when it came out. But this one, it's like, it's a bit different because we brought it out like a couple of weeks ago, and then we've actually been able to meet people and like see their reaction on it and stuff like that. Play shows, and like, yeah, it's like, it's been class. And
yeah, it's very different. It's weird as well, like picking a set list, because they're songs that just because they've been reacted to like online, it doesn't necessarily translate to like the live environment and stuff. So like we're gradually sort of working out the best set list that we can do from the two records and stuff. So yeah, but overall, like, everyone's been dead supportive. Like we're extremely grateful for the fan base we have. Like they are very supportive, and they do seem to really get behind what we put out and stuff. So yeah, and we're like, as a band, we're dead proud of that second record as well. I think like I think it shows progression in terms of songwriting, playing, production and stuff. So yeah, like we're dead happy with it as well.
It feels like you're big Strokes guys, right?
Yeah.
It feels like your Room on Fire to your Is This It.
I suppose like
sure,
like
yeah.
I was saying, like Is This It and Room on Fire are very much like, they're quite linked albums, I guess. So I suppose that was very much a subconscious thing, but like I guess you could, not that they're anywhere as good as those albums, but like you could sort of say that we tried to do something similar with those two records as well.
I like to think it's like, it's a bit of a continuation, but also kind of expanded on maybe a bit more of a broader like sort of set of themes and
definitely
stuff.
yeah.
How far ahead do you think? Are you almost kind of laying the groundwork for what's even going to come for the third album with the second one?
Well, that's the thing, man. I mean, like, obviously the second record came out in the 20th of August, but album 3 is already on the go, and we're already thinking about what shows we're going to play in 2021, and like, well, you know, it's I think we've always just kind of thought like that, because you record something like as much as a year before it comes out or whatever, and then you can't just sit on that one thing for a long time. So, and we're quite active. We even when we're not doing anything sort of publicly, we're always doing stuff behind the scenes. So yeah, we try not to just like hold back. We're always trying to think of something that we can do, yeah, for sure.
What does the day off look like for you then? How often does the day off come about, or are you always thinking about music and always just on the back of your mind, you know?
It's sort of like, I mean, it's because like we're incredibly fortunate to be able to do music, like so even when we're on, like, it's still an enjoyable thing. It's not like we're sort of slaving away, like at sort of like you punch in, you punch out, like, so even on our days off, like, it's nice to think like you maybe get inspired to do something, you go like, oh, I'll work on that tomorrow or whatever, like, I'll work on that in the evening when I've got some free time or whatever. So yeah, I mean, like, the days off are just kind of intrinsically linked to the music anyway, so like,
because some like days off, like especially when you've got like a little gap between playing like tours or whatever, kind of feels like you just want to be doing it even on your
exactly.
days off.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
Like days off on tour are so boring.
Yeah.
Like you just want to play another show.
like hanging around a travel lodge
Ah,
on like a service
exactly.
station, and you're just like,
Can that ever hurt the momentum of a tour as well? Like if you're really in it and you're kind of bouncing from show to show and then you have a day off, how do you keep that going when you come back to the show after that? Can it ever be difficult?
It's days off are great because you get to lie in and then like you get to eat properly that day or whatever and like sort of reset. So it's never too much of a problem. But like I don't think it's affected the momentum so far. And you do sometimes need them, definitely, 100%.
To round this up then,
Sure.
you work with Rich Turvey on both records, right?
Yes.
yeah.
What's the lesson that you learned from working on the first album that you carried into the second one? And what's the lesson you learned from working on this album that you think you'll carry going forward?
First album wise, I think like something that we took from the first album into that second album is not kind of like focusing and worrying on about every single little detail and just like it will be like it will work like and then I guess something that we took from the second record is just trying to make the songs as direct as we possibly can so that a listener can hear that tune and then the message of that tune gets to them within that kind of like first listen, and also like what we want to put across sonically, production wise, gets to them within that first listen of the song, and that's hopefully something we'll carry on doing.
I think also like working with Rich as well, we've learned a lot of stuff that we like if we'd never worked with him we'd never think about doing.
Definitely,
like
yeah.
we've never used a guitar amp on like our two albums. It's because like, you know, we've like that's the sound that he prefers, and like at first we were like, oh, like to make a guitar to record a guitar it needs to come through an amp, but like now we're just so into that sound and it's just such a big part of Vistas, and Vistas is like Rich is such a big part of Vistas because like he co-writes some of the songs as well, and he's just so involved in like the process.
Definitely. So that's, I mean, yeah, we're dead grateful that we worked with Rich. I'm not sure we'd be the band that we are now had we not initially done Retrospect with him a couple of years ago. So yeah, learned loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thanks for having us. Cheers.